Hello guys, we all know that premarital sex has a dilapidating or a very, very severe effect when it comes to your marriage. It puts a dent on it. Now today on the show, remember, we want to debunk some of the fallacies that is out there. Some of the fallacies young men and women who are dating have been meant to believe. Some console themselves, yes. We are engaging in premarital sex because at the end of the day, we are going to get married. Welcome to the Benjamin Zulu show, and today Benjamin is here to make you understand some of the dangers that you are actually enrolling into by engaging into premarital sex. Benjamin.
Can you start also by mentioning primarily that a person's, if you want to see how self-controlled a person is, you can just check their sexual life.
Very true.
You may not be with that person everywhere, but if you just check, just place your measuring gauge,
yes,
on their sexual life. So one reason you need to hold sex until you get married is to maintain sexual discipline. It's not preached a lot. A lot of people are on the receiving end. I heard a song says, Nacheza defense. Guy saying, I'm playing on the defense. If you're not sexually disciplined, you'll be playing defense. You'll be on the receiving end of life. That's what brought David. The only mistake that guy ever did was sexual.
Yeah.
Other things was flying high. It's a woman, it's a sexual connection that brought Samson down. A lot of giants who would have flown throughout. It was something to do with this area of life. So we are not discussing it as a peripheral area that is not related to your career, your calling, your lifestyle, your peace of mind. In fact, if you can control that one area, many other things to do with money, many other things to do with, you know, good things in life, patience and pain, they become easier to manage.
And I agree with you, and that I have said it before, that anyone who can manage sexual discipline can manage other lesser demanding areas.
And can we tell them why? Because when you are centered mentally and at balance, and there's no stress and chaos. You know, when you have sex with a person, you have a secret that will last forever.
Yeah.
There's a saying among my people that if you gossip with a young boy, you will stop crying when he dies. How many years of tension, Bramwell? If you gossip with a young boy, you stop crying when he dies. This is a problem of having sex here and there. You have too many people, too many secrets. And when a text comes, could it be from one of them telling you I did not get my periods? It could be true or lie, but how many people have been embarrassed years after? If you're going to pray another prayer, even if you forget others, ask God to deliver you, to keep you away. This Proverbs 6 that talks about the immoral woman, throughout, sexual sin, throughout. It tells you to observe sexual discipline, and let me tell you, none of us is born with it, unfortunately. When we are born, our passions run wild. And our culture is so sex saturated. It pumps up our lust, our passions. In advertisement, in music, we just hear fantasies about, even songs are soft pornography. The dance moves are arousing the feelings. So, what we're describing today is critical to your destiny, your character. So let's start here. When you start dating a person, people have sex on two levels. Those who don't have sex with just anyone whom they're dating, they start having sex when they're in a good relationship. That's when they feel secure. And they think that is somewhat justifying. So they don't starve each other. Others show it as proof of trust, proof of together. Some think they're strengthening their bond. The person who designed sex intended it within a certain context of marriage. Every sex outside that context is not making love. You know, people call it that to sugarcoat. It's not making love, it's ruining your souls, tearing apart your heart, it's hurting you. You may not see immediately, but it will show eventually. The one thing that you need to realize is only sex within marriage is backed by God. This other sex, you know it's not backed by God because it leaves you with guilt. It leaves you with a bad taste in the mouth. You dress up quickly and run away. You don't want to see that person. So let's go. One, people who have sex when start dating a person to road test. Let me tell you about the problem in road testing. A person is not a car. That is one thing. Cars have no feelings. If you go around 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, it has lost very little. Except the fuel you put, the tear and wear is insignificant. There's no lingering. You can't even tell which other driver was here before you. The car has no feeling. Never use test driving on a person. It's an insult. A person has feelings and a soul. And sex is not just the interaction of the bodies. The Bible says David went into Bathsheba. It's going into the person. It's a lot more than just an activity. So, what you need to realize is, if you're having sex, people say they're road testing. The next thing they're saying is they're checking whether this person can function. So road testing also is done for old cars. New cars, we don't road test. So sometimes when people are road testing, you don't go to Toyota Kenya and say, I want to road test. You should know this car or you don't.
Yeah.
Do you know this is Prado K150 series? That's all. This is the Lexus, a Lex 470. You should know the car or you don't. Only second-hand cars are road tested. These others actually order from abroad and you pay. It's abroad. New cars. People are self-respected, high value. There's nothing like road testing. You should know what you're looking for. Should read my character or leave me alone. I'll come to the point where you check whether a person is sexually functioning. So the second reason people have sex is to check whether you're functioning. You don't check whether a person is functioning by having sex with them. For one reason, because of the excitement of having sex with a new person, they can function, but they actually have an erectile dysfunction, which will only show later when the excitement goes down. Again, you want them to know whether they know how to have sex, and you have never taught them. Sex is like food. It's cooked in a certain manner, done in a certain way, according to people's preferences. When did you teach them? You don't test away whether they know how to cook. You can teach them as long as they're teachable. They don't teach you how to handle them. They will teach you as long as you're willing, willing to learn. Whether to check whether a person's parts are functioning, that's the words of premarital counseling and gynecologist. You remember the counselor or the pastor will always ask you whether you can perform according to how you know yourself. Do you erect? Do you think you're normal? You have interacted with your body all along. The lady is asked several questions. Imagine it is only that far that you can go. Once you sense a problem, once you sense a need for, then you'll see a gynecologist. You can only use experts. You can only use the right to examine the physical bodies. It's not you going to undress. Another problem you don't want to undress before you marry is the person wonders without many other people. You have done that. Trust goes away. You enter on a deficit. This person knowing you're not. If you've been preaching and praying, you are doing it despite. Yeah. So moving forward, they know you have the capacity to do it. You have the capacity to sleep with whoever. How will they trust you? Or how will you say it was different? Even if you say now you have been renewed and filled with the Holy Spirit, how will they trust it? Another problem of premarital sex is the value of you, mostly as a lady, reduces. Can I also tell you, because I know, messy most being. You cannot pretend too much in sex. When we are talking like this, but too many feelings, too many emotions, you remain composed. Those people who do sleepovers, Brahman, can you warn them for me? Don't spend a night with a person you wish to impress and have a life with. Can you control? It's like being interviewed naked. Interviews, we usually do naked. How can you act properly, Brahman, when you are asleep? Try to maintain composure when you are asleep. It's not possible. Ask men, ladies, only that they don't broadcast because it will implicate them. Let me tell you on their behalf. A lot of women, the relationship was doing well until they had sex. Many of them, the two of them, are afflicted by guilt and they drift apart. When men are attracted to women, they imagine having sex with them. But that sexual chemistry should be kept around but at bay. You don't want a person you're not attracted to, but you also need self-control to know the timing. After Amnon had slept with Tamar, he hated her more than he had lust. When it wears off, it leaves behind a bad taste. The reason I want you to keep sex at bay, Brahma, is another reason. It clouds your reasoning. You don't know whether you really love this woman or you're just attracted sexually. The woman you love will be attractive sexually, but you can be attracted sexually to a woman you don't love. Some women's shape, beauty, it's compelling. But you cannot converse. In fact, I want to give you a free homework. Check those girls whom you are, the first thing that strikes you is how sexy they look. Majority of them, you can't talk about anything. They have no depth. There's a weird trend among beautiful women to trust in their beauty, they ignore their brains. From high school, they received attention for free. We have a few that are very pretty and also very progressive. I've seen them, but I can count on my one hand all the ones I've seen in my life. They're less than 5. In my primary school, there's only one. The ones that would stand out and they can win beauty contest, and they are also hardworking. My brother, they don't exist. They're very few. The thing you need to know is, many times the women who strike you, they have nothing else. Carry that bias with you, it will save you. Remember, Zulu warned me, many who slay me emotionally might not even move me mentally. Keep that. It will save you from a lot of trouble. Can I tell you another thing? Many of those whom you see on YouTube dancing, TikTok, you know, they show their body and you feel cheaters. Oh my God. If you are to converse this way, they have no depth. They have no interest in learning. They're just worried how impression they are making on you. They're just making, and you're wondering, no, we are going to do this all day. The reason men end up sleeping with the women is, men are easily trapped. If you invite a woman in your house, you can easily follow. You need to be very principled, both of you, because she can overwhelm you. And maybe she's already pregnant and she was looking for a fat cow. You know, you're a fat cow. Let me give you the wrong name, but that's how they call you out there. You're a big catch. Brahman, keep that at the back of your mind. You need to preach yourself. You need to preach to yourself every day. Can you change your self-talk now? Let me give you a different self-talk. Keep telling yourself, I'm a target.
I'm a target.
I'm an easy prey. No, stop thinking you are tough. You know, I like to imagine, in fact, I just quite know what I'm doing, and I'm not easily. If a lady brought herself to your house, she would trap you unceremoniously.
That is true.
And because you are decent, you don't want to kick out a lady. You! I can't tell you how many men have been trapped that easily.
Yeah.
She undresses, and because your chemistry and your biology come together in the same laboratory, you touch her, you're hooked. Narcissistic women, that's their favorite trick.
Yeah.
Favorite, and they will harass you. You regret that act until the day you die, my brother. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. The number of, the moment you show interest, many people think as long as we are dating, it's okay to have sex. But that's an area of trap. Yeah. Do you know if you want to pull out of a relationship and you've never had sex, it's not as hard. It's not as hard. But if you have removed clothes together, even some people take photos, others take videos, how many information about you do they have? Please keep your clothes on. You'll be safer that way. You never remove your clothes in the road. Never remove your clothes in front of a person you have not married.
Okay.
When men unzip, I always tell us, when you unzip, you have opened for demons. Think of demons to scare yourself. There's some women who cling on you, never exercise them.
Yeah.
Make it your habit. I've made it my habit to study the history of, I like to call them toxic people, toxic women, because men are easily trapped by their sexuality. There's a guy I know some place who married a lady like that, and the lady has a very good shape, but she's chaotic. She turned his life upside down, tortured him. The guy would go and call the clan to come and take her away. When the clan gathers, she comes with arrows and scatters the meeting with arrows. So the clan gathers again and tells him, now secretly elsewhere, just marry another woman and move away from there yourself. He married another woman, actually built another place. The lady followed them and bought the adjacent piece of land and built a house next to this one. And stood there with catapults to see any chicken that crosses her fence. Kill it. Tormented. Until that other lady, the guy died. When he died, she launched cases in court. He stayed in mortuary for a year. Until the other woman died. Second wife. Now she took. I seen a man who was tormented in life and in death.
Look at that.
But I kept asking my friend, what attracted him to her? We are that idiot. Men are easy to deceive.
Yeah.
The moment you see the thighs, the body, become a zombie. I like to maintain that capacity of my foolishness in my consciousness. I know I can be idiot at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
Because I know of the foolishness, I avoid the pitfalls. It told me that to avoid the sin and the bad that so easily entangles me. Every weight and the sin that easily you can be easily entangled. Yeah. Easily. That is Hebrews 12. I want to be very careful not to be easily entangled. I want to maintain light. And remember I told you, you can run to the end of your race. If you do what Paul said, I don't fight like one beating the air. I fight with purpose, that I may win like an athlete who runs to win the prize. You don't concern yourself with civilian matters. We have a lot of civilian matters on earth. There are people who are not conscious about serving God. They're just living their life. Remember that? Yeah. Civilian. But the captain of our souls, that's the military language they're using there. To the captain of your souls. You are a soldier in the army. You don't think of civilian matters. You focus on receiving the reward. When armies go to fight, do they try to plan and bring as much wealth as possible? They try to win the war. Yeah. You'll be paid at home. Think of yourself that way. And even sexual sin. When you start dating girls, don't get involved sexually with them.
Right. Avoiding premarital sex, you'll realize amongst the many excuses guys have given themselves to their ladies is, after all, you're getting married. There's no sin we are committing.
Remember, it's the marriage that makes you one flesh. Before marriage, you are not one flesh.
Okay.
If you feel that you need sex, marry sooner.
Hey.
If you start having sex, it's still premarital. Although we like to approximate and say God will understand. I have given you the psychological and practical reasons. One, you need your woman to know that you can trust yourself. You need and you can control yourself.
Yeah.
And you need to know she's principled and self-controlled. Even if you are both agreed and all that, it will still remain at the back of your mind, we did it before. So I know you can do it before, outside marriage. Yeah. Because we did it outside marriage.
Yeah.
Now, God will not understand that somehow you were to get married. God will not understand that. And the thing I keep telling men is that don't try to approximate scripture. To approximate, that's where the enemy will catch you. Because you will do that and then you get pregnant.
Yeah.
Christian girls get pregnant easily because they're not experienced in family planning.
Okay.
You might know, you might be aware of the phenomenon of former CU cheerleaders getting pregnant.
Yeah.
A very sad phenomenon. Then it would spread to shame the church. I had one former CU chair of a high school, and she told me it was with a guy with whom there's not much chemistry. They just used to spend a lot of time together. Then one day it happened, and they don't. You see, she has lived a pure life. This is not her life. Other girls do it and they don't get pregnant because they know how to use. She is new in this area. Again, the enemy has an agenda, a score to point, a point to score.
Yeah.
An embarrassment to do. So you will do it thinking someone will get, then you get pregnant. And then you hurry up, do the wedding when you're already pregnant, and the glory is not there. Have you attended wedding? It just looks like a movie. There's no, you can see its surface. There's something glorious about doing things in increments. And I'm not saying God doesn't forgive, God forgives, but as much as you can, keep the right track. Now, if you must, I told men, one way to avoid temptation is not to date for too long. If you think you're going to be fasting for 1 year and the food is here, it will be more difficult. Date when you're ready to marry, so that after you evaluate her, she's good enough, you guys are good to get married. Shorten the waiting. People fall because they're waiting for 5 years.
That is true. Yeah.
They are here for so long. They think I will collapse if I keep waiting. The thing is, if once you realize that I want this person, have that in mind so that we don't get tempted. Let's get married.
All right, let's get married. And Benjamin, there is also something I need you to talk about, because I'm sure one of our viewers is actually thinking about it. You'll realize, Benjamin, that somebody might be wondering, Benjamin, I've seen so many marriages, guys maintained themselves, their purity, but they ended up divorcing. You see, now they're wondering, Benjamin, is purity a direct ticket to marriage success?
There are many factors that may contribute to people to be compatible, and we are saying you follow the right process, not just to ensure against divorce, but to do things right and be at peace with your own conscience. Sometimes when the marriage breaks, you may be haunted. Was it because we sinned? If it breaks and you never sinned, you will say it is not because of that. You will not be haunted. All right? So there are people who say even if you wed, you might divorce.
Yeah.
I want you to do things right so that you are, even if it breaks, you have grief but no guilt. You feel pain without blaming yourself. Pain without blame. But if you mess up the process and things fall apart, you might have a doubt. Could I have contributed? What is better? The better thing is to do things right and not to say, I saw others who married in a wedding and they divorced. Life doesn't work like that. Remember, smoking causes lung cancer, but some people smoke and they don't get it. Others smoke and they get it. But lung cancer is highest among those who smoke. The same way, divorces, separations, people fading out are higher upon those who have sex before they get married. Yeah.
I like that, Benjamin, and thank you for actually bringing up this conversation, because I'm sure young men and women who are watching have been caught in that compromising situation, and we tend to sweep all these things under the carpet, Benjamin, without knowing the repercussions at the end. Now, Benjamin, for those young men who have fallen within this particular trap, how can they regain? How can they get back on track?
You know, at any point you can go back to the right track. You can say, we have been doing this, I think we should stop it and do it the right time. In fact, you'll end up gaining respect for each other, for having made a decision and lived up to it. I told you one way to teach your will to respect your word, to build your willpower, is to obey your own word.
Right. That is it, guys. Build your willpower to obey your own word. Thank you for viewing. Till next time.